Mortal Kombat 1 desperately needs the CreateAFighter mode, aka Create a Combatant. Now, I will be the first to tell you that Mortal Kombat 1 is on the verge of becoming Armageddon, or it's on the verge of becoming Mortal Kombat 9. What I'm saying in so many words is that the game is going to end up either the best Mortal Kombat game of all time, or it's going to end up as the worst Mortal Kombat game of all time, based on how NRS continues to handle the situation going forward. Now, I think one thing that they can do is expand on what they promised us. They promised us full freedom, and they have done so in the beginning by delivering us a combo system, whether we may or may not like it, that allows us access to the freedom we requested. Meaning that you can pick different cameo characters, you can mix and match with your character, come up with combo ideas. I can't tell you how many times I was just kind of like at work or out and about and I came up with this idea, was like, wait a minute, what if I do this combo with Rain and then I pick Sector to do this and then I can do that and go into my fatal blow and then I come home and try it and it actually worked. So that type of freedom is what brings people back to the game for replay value. So now that I gave you that example, let's actually get into the topic of the video. So CreateAFighter mode is desperately needed because it is something that will keep players coming back and keep the game refreshing at its own pace and at its own time. So in order for them to make this work, because I know a lot of you in the comment section right now is just kind of like, Wave, we already had CreateAFighter and Armageddon, it didn't work, it didn't work, it didn't work. Well, this is 2023, technology is better, and they also have different systems put in place, and the systems that they have in place will prevent a lot of things from getting out of control, such as damage scaling and a whole bunch of other things, but we'll get into movesets a little later. Let's go ahead and kick off by talking about body forms. Now, body forms is something that I would like to see should they bring back CreateAFighter, aka Create a Combatant. Body forms meaning that you can pick a character that's a human, your character can be a outworld character, it can be a vampire like Nitara, outworlder, or a chaos realmer, whatever you want to call it. You should be able to pick the different body types of your character, and it also should allow you to be able to write a bio for your character that other people can see online. Say for example, me and you, we get into a match, right? And even though the game has no loading times, let's just say we're able to go back and view the person that we fought, and we can kind of click on their combat card and read the bio of their character. I don't know exactly where they would put it, but there should be a little section in there where you can kind of view the bios, where we are able to write our own bios. For example, I'll make mine up real quick. I'll make something up. So my character would basically be called, let's say, Wave Warrior. I'll just make something up off the spot, Wave Warrior. Yes, I can come up with a better name, but for the sake of the video, Wave Warrior, right? Let's say you click on my card and it say Wave Warrior is a warrior that was born in Earthrealm. He was trained by Shujinko, but later on betrayed by Raiden, and then he was befriended by Kai. Kai taught him the ways of how to become a real monk. You see what I'm saying? Stuff like that or whatever. So we should be able to type out our own bios, so where people can be able to see our bios. And I think that right there would really add some in-depth and uniqueness to the game, because I would love to be reading people's stories. That would be so dope to read people's stories, and people can get creative by creating, you know, characters from other video games and bringing them into Mortal Kombat, which would be dope. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. When it comes to body forms, if you pick a human character, you should be able to get tattoos. That's not to say if you make your character a Tarkatan, you don't get the opportunity to get tattoos. It's just that I don't really see Tarkatans having tattoos, but it's not to say that they can't have any. So with that being said, tattoos should definitely be an option. And you know what? I got an idea for Tarkatans, as you can see here on your screen. What about having them have battle scars? Like, you can have battle scars on your characters, as well as humans being able to have battle scars, but different races can have like different stuff. For example, the Chaos Realmers, they can have disfigured bodies that look just like Havoc's. you know, disfigured bodies, and then I can go on and go on and on and on. Like for example, Outworlders, they can kind of change their skin color to look like Quan Chi or whatever, you know what I'm saying, that type of stuff. So basically, I think it would be a great idea for them to create something like that where you can create your character in full detail, and then we can move over to the clothing option. And I think clothing would be a massive money maker for NRS, because when I tell you this, we don't have problems spending money with NRS, with our favorite companies. We just don't like being robbed, lied to, cheat, and deceived out of our money. For example, that Mortal Kombat Halloween Fatality, $12. Get real. That Fatality should have been free. It should have been released on Halloween, and it should have been free. They could have put out a patch date. We would have appreciated it to the moon and back, and would have gave NRS some credit. If you were going to sell the Fatality, you should have at least sold it at 99 cents, but I understand you guys got to make money, so I'm willing to say $5. You could have sold it at $4.99 is what you could have done, and you would have got away with it scot-free, and we barely would have complained at all. So with that being said, we don't have a problem spending money. Look what Baraka has on here. Let's say you create a Tarkatan character, and then you can buy like Tarkatan type clothes is what you can buy. That would be super duper dope. Buying clothes, look at the Tarkatans in the background, the one on the other side of Baraka. You can buy all of the clothes that you see here. Say for example that vest or whatever it is Baraka have on, you would have to fight online in Combat League, and you can buy that vest he got for 375, let's say, I want to say dragon crystals, or use the coins that you have to buy different parts of your outfits. That would be super dope. I would play invasion mode just to get new coins to buy the endless amount of gear for my character. I would love to buy endless amount of gear. You know, anytime NRS do something and it's predetermined, they just really don't know what we want when it comes to costumes, or I should say they do know what we want. They just refuse to give it to us. And when we do get it, it's kind of like, we gave you what you want, that's it. But being able to drop new clothing packs every couple of months would be super dope. Imagine Mortal Kombat 1 3 years in and we're still getting new clothes for the game. Now that is a game that's worth $110 if they were going to introduce CreateAFighter and they say, hey, if you pre-order the game now, you'll be able to get $5,000 in cash to buy clothing for your character. That would have been super dope. Now when it comes to Kung Lao, all of the stuff that they got us unlocking in invasion mode and Combat League, how dope would it be to just actually go to the store and buy those clothing items? Now that's not to say take them out of Combat League, because you still can put them in Combat League where you can get them for free. That would be mega dope. And like I said, going back to the Tarkatan characters real quick, what if you can create a Tarkatan character and give them like different sets of teeth? You can give them different sets of teeth. Like Melina has a mouth that opens 3 ways. I think in Mortal Kombat 1 she had that. Predator also had a Tarkatan type mouth, and so did Baraka. So it's so many different ways and different things that they can do to make this game so much better if they can just go ahead and get on it. Now we move over to the Earth Realmers. Now Earth Realmers, we all live on Earth. We're all from Earth Realm. We're literally from Earth Realm. And we have a crap ton of clothes. So having clothes that we can buy for our human characters would be dope. Like for example, look at what Johnny Cage got on right now. This man got on war gear and he got a sword. So how dope would it be to be able to buy new swords, new clothes, and then for Johnny Cage, we should be able to buy like his older outfits, like his tuxedo, you know, new tattoos for Johnny Cage, all types of stuff. That would just be fantastic across the board. And you see what Rain got on? By him being an Edenian, I believe he's still an Edenian in this timeline, but being able to buy different mastery clothes that matches his mage persona, that would be super dope too. But how cool would it be to throw Rain in some jeans and a t-shirt? How dope would that be? Same thing with Tanya. How dope would it be if we can take Tanya, slap her in some jeans and put a leather jacket on her, get her a new hairstyle to where she got her hair in a ponytail or braid it all the way to the back? That would be mega dope if we were able to do stuff like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw some icing on the cake. How dope would it be if we altered the appearance of these characters and then we went to story mode, and the story mode characters actually got on some of the clothes, as long as it's not related to the plot? where we can see these different type of clothing that are on the characters. That would be so dope. And then I'll say this here. If NRS was to do that, they would truly win over a lot of fans. They really, really would, you know? So that's just where I'm at with it. Now I want to move on to something like, let's say, fighting stances. Being able to pick and choose your different fighting stance, that would be dope. Look how Liu Kang stands. Look how Raiden stands. Everybody stands different in the game. So if they want to sell us fighting stances, that would be dope as far as the create a move package where you can get so many different fighting stances. For example, let's say with Li Mei. Remember when Li Mei used to have that fighting stance where she stood on one leg with her arms up? I think it was called Crouching Tiger or Dragon or something like that, and she did the little kicks. What if we were able to buy that fighting stance for our created character? That would be mega dope. Or if we were able to apply it to certain characters, it would be dope across the board. You see how I was able to come up with all of that stuff, and I haven't even touched on abilities. I have not touched on quitalities, fatalities, brutalities. I didn't touch on none of that stuff at all. I did not touch on it, and I was able to create a awesome vision to the point where you guys would have been like, yo, if NRS gave us that, we would be cool. Like, that's just half of it. So now we are going to go ahead and move over to the next thing, which is going to be taunts. So I'll say this much here. If we had to buy our taunts, that would be pretty awesome too. If we had to buy our taunts, as far as, let's say, you know how Rain got his own taunts, everybody got their own taunts. That would be great if they gave us like default taunts that we can buy from the store, or based on whatever weapon you pick or fighting style, then we would be able to pick out taunts. Now, a lot of you probably be like, well, Wave, how would it work if your character has a weapon? How would it work? How would it work? Well, it would be an option. So when you create your character, you can decide if you want a weapon. If you pick a weapon like a sword, then it will give you an option to where you can pick combos that are related to like swords. For example, let's say you pick the sword as your weapon. Then now you have access to some custom moves that NRS made or cut from the game for Kenshi, and you can get those moves as your own. Say, for example, you got the you want to do forward, let's say down forward, no, let's say 2-2-3-2. Let's say you want to do 2-2-3-2, right? So you do 2-2-3-2 where you slash, and then you swing the sword backwards and do another slash that pops them into the air where you can jump and get you an air juggle combo. And I haven't even touched on air juggles yet. So my whole point is they can really fine tune this system to where you can create your screens. You should be able to create at least 5 screens per character. You can create a small screen, like for example, the standard character got small screens, and then they all got this one large screen. So only thing they got to do is follow the guidelines that they have for each Mortal Kombat character that's already in the game, and give us the opportunity to create our own screens for that. Now, a lot of you probably be like, oh, that would be OP. That would be OP. No, it would not. That's what they have damage scaling for. They have damage scaling, and if something do slip through the cracks, they have the opportunity to fix it by putting out a patch note. Now, I'll give you an example. Look what they did with with the Sindel glitch. They banned Sindel from being used in tournaments until they were able to put out an update to fix it. So who's to say they can't do the same thing with create a character? Let's say you guys do find a way to exploit the system and you have a broken move. We're going to report it. Now, how about this? Another thing that we can do to make this better too is create a report system to where you can click on the move that somebody did and you can report it, because you know all your Mortal Kombat matches, at least on PS5, are recorded. They're all recorded. So if you want to go click on that video and hit submit video as evidence, or submit a clip as evidence, or submit a combo. So say for example it brings up your opponent's move set after the match is finished, you can go click the move that they were using and hit report combo. And when you report that combo to NRS, they can review it, see that it has a loop in it, and then you can kind of help solve that problem. And then in return, they'll give you like 25 dragon crystals or something like that for keeping the community clean. You see how I'm able to come up with all of this good stuff and all of these solutions? This is just dope across the board that I'm even able to come up with this stuff. They really need to hire me for NRS. Now, I'll be the next person to tell you that when it comes to more stuff that can be added, I want to go ahead and say wake up attacks. Now, they can go ahead and have us choose wake up attacks. For example, some people got great wake up attacks and some people got terrible ones. For example, Tanya has a really good wake up attack where she has armor. She can get up and pop, pop, pop with her little spin kick. Same thing with Raiden. Raiden has a great wake up attack where he can get up and just fly across the screen regardless of where you knock him. Same thing with Li Mei, and same thing with General Shao. But you got other characters where they wake up attacks just aren't good, and people have found a way to avoid wake up attacks altogether. But allowing us to have wake up attacks that gives us advantages and disadvantages would be great. For example, let's say you can kind of pick a wake up attack from another character. So, but it would have to be aligned to what the character values are, is what I'm saying. For example, if your character is, let's say, a water-based character or something like that, then it makes sense because you can then kind of use Rain's wake up. His water wake up attack is what you can do. But if your character is based on fire, then you can do Rain's water wake up attack, but except instead of water coming out, it will be fire that comes out of the ground. You see what I'm saying? So they really can fine tune the game to make it work the way that we would like for it to work. I think that would be mega dope across the board. And that's not talking about the other attacks that we have, because remember, you get 2 wake up attacks. So the second one kind of being an invulnerable attack, which would be pretty good too, where you can just kind of wake up and defend yourself. That would be extremely great. You can do all of these things that needs to be done. Like when it comes to blocking, as mentioned, if you want to block, instead of blocking like a human, if you pick a certain type of character, like if you're a mage, then you should be able to block using water. If you pick a different type of character, you should be able to block like Motaro blocks when he uses that shield to reflect the things that you shoot at him. You should be able to do something like that too. So there's a lot of room for creativity in the Mortal Kombat community to make this game the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be in the name of Bret Hart. They have the ability to do so, but unfortunately the laziness over at NRS due to the restraints of WB Discovery is what's holding this game back across the board. Now, I tell you what, I'm not even going to touch on the other stuff that I have written for this. I'm just probably going to touch on 2 more. But if you want me to continue this Create Combat series, then let me know, because I come up with so many freaking ideas as to what can be done. I would not mind making videos on it. So the next thing that we would touch on just really quickly, I would want to say fatal blows, because I know a lot of you want to hear about fatal blows. So if they were to do create a fatal blow, that would be a super dope move where you can just kind of create your own fatal blow, and then it could be used in the game, and you can just kind of go from there. Now, that's actually a good topic, and I'm pretty sure I can milk some content out of that. I'm just being honest with you. So actually, I'm not even going to touch on that one. I'm going to save that for another video, but create a fatal blow should definitely, and it's mandatory, should be a part of CreateAFighter. Now, another one that I would like to say, I'll do a more easier one for the sake of this video, is sweep kicks. Being able to choose your own sweep kick. For example, Reptile does a sweep kick. I believe he turns into a reptile and sweeps you with his tail, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then you got characters like Rain, who uses his water to trip you up. You got characters like Raiden, who does an actual sweep kick. You got characters like Tanya, who does an actual, she hits you with her baton or whatever she has to kind of trip you up. You see where I'm going with this here? So you should be able to choose your own sweep kick, whether it's based on your weapon or it's an actual sweep kick that you have. But I do think that these are things that should be earned throughout your course as a Mortal Kombat player, through Combat League, through Invasions, or through the character, you know, through the shrine when they introduce the shrine. So that's just where I'm at with a lot of these things, on them being able to do those things. I think that would be great. It would be great across the board. Now, another thing that they can introduce just really quickly is, you know how Shang Tsung transforms into other characters? What if they gave you the option to kind of be like a Shang Tsung type character, where you can shapeshift? You could shapeshift your character into your opponent. I think that would be great too, but also that right there would probably be OP, because everybody would be morphing into other, you know, other players. But then again, that would be pretty cool. It would be a great risk. I mean, it would be a great reward, but it would also be a risk, because imagine turning into a character and you don't know they moveset. So you steal somebody else's identity as a Shang Tsung type character, but you don't know they moveset because it's a custom moveset. So you basically trying out people's characters. That right there would be sick, because it comes with a pro, but it also comes with a con at the same time, no pun intended. So I honestly think NRS is in the best position they've ever been in with this game to make it the GOAT, the greatest of all time. This will wipe any other fighting game that thought they had the chance off the map. It really would. It actually will cause them to step up, because we all know competition is good for everybody. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned this one already, but I'll go ahead and mention it just in case I didn't. Now, when it comes to taunts, I think characters being able to taunt, or to pick and choose your taunt, that would be dope. As I said, it would be based on which weapon you choose, because if you pick Rain, a water staff like Rain, then you would be able to kind of do some of the taunts that he have, or they can create new ones. And then if you pick something sharp like Kung Lao's hat, or a variation or something like that, then you can be able to do different taunts with it. So I just honestly think those would be some great additions to be able to create taunts. Or they can give us the classic taunts from the previous games, like when Stryker wins, he takes his gun and shoot in the air, or like when Sub-Zero wins or Scorpion, they'll put one arm up in the air, or Reptile does his little Reptile legendary pose. That would be mega dope if they do things like that. Now, the next one I want to touch on is like special moves. They should allow you to have one special move and one projectile. Like, you should have at least 3 moves. Like, I'll give you an example. Let me see, how many do Tanya have? So Tanya has the blast, where she can shoot at you. She got one where she can jump in the air and shoot down on you. She got one where she can parry you, and she got another one where she can like summon all of these hands. She got the little spin kick that she got, and she also got that back forward 3 where she can slide across the screen. So she got a good amount of moves. Do I think we need that many? No, but at the same time, Raiden has a good amount of moves. Hell, all the characters had a good amount of moves. So my point for saying that is this: they should give us the same equal amount of moves as every other character. For example, let's say you want to go invisible like Reptile. So you can choose invisibility as an option that you have. And if you do go invisible, you can kind of go semi-invisible to where you still can be seen. But if you go to Combat League or Invasion modes and rank up, you can increase your invisibility to the point where you can't be seen at all. Like, you can go invisible for like 3 seconds, 4 seconds. And then if you boost it high enough, the highest you can go invisible for is like a full 10 seconds, or maybe a full 5 seconds, to be able to kind of trick your opponent, or whatever the case is. Now, you can go invisible. Imagine being able to go invisible and mix your invisibility with a parry attack. And then now somebody tries to attack you while you're invisible, and then you can kind of parry them. That would be mega dope. I think that would be OP as hell. But being able to do something like that is just dope across the board. Being able to have that freedom to kind of mix and match everything that needs to be mixed and matched. I think we all would truly appreciate NRS in creating something like that. Now, again, for those of you just tuning in, I'm sure a lot of you probably gonna be like, that's OP, Wave. That's OP. It won't be OP, because the damage scaling system will handle that, as well as users being able to report unfair advantages and stuff like that, to have it reviewed by the NRS team themselves. That would be great. We also would, if they were to create a system to where we can upvote combos, or upvote things, that would be dope. Almost like Reddit where you can upvote stuff. So say for example, I got a character, I got a dope combo, and you can upvote my combo or whatever the case, my combo, which means that is a combo that can be used by other people. I think that would be dope if you're able to upload your moveset or whatever, but then you get what I'm saying. Basically, it would be a part of uniqueness. And another thing I would like to touch on is, of course, projectiles. Is when you go to projectiles, right? And you're just kind of able to shoot projectiles, whether it's fire, whether it's ice, whether it's water, whether it's wind. Like for characters that are not in the game, imagine you being a wind god like Fujin, and you're able to kind of shoot wind out your hand or throw tornadoes. So this will allow NRS to use old assets that they spent money on that they're not using anymore. So imagine a character like Cetrion, right? Imagine by Cetrion not being in Mortal Kombat 1 to where you can kind of just use her moves, where you can use the rock throw, you can use the ground pound, or different versions of the ground pound, because mind you, Jax has a ground pound, but Cetrion has a ground pound also, but they can come up with different versions of ground pound to the where you can just kind of take your foot and stomp on the ground and it'll like pound the ground. So it's so many things that they can do with different variations of each move. And I promise you, you watching this video, we all would purchase these things. Mortal Kombat would be a game that we will not put down if we're able to do all of this type of amazing stuff. NRS, they need to get some get right. Because I'm telling you this right now, Mortal Kombat 1 has the potential to be the best video game, best fighting game ever created, next to, I was going to say next to Grand Theft Auto, but Grand Theft Auto is not a fighting game. So I'm going to just say Mortal Kombat 1 has the opportunity to be the next best game right after Grand Theft Auto when it comes to milking content. If they were to do stuff like that, you can milk us all you want like a cow for the next 4 to 5 years by just giving us additional content, and we would be okay. We're very, very simple people to please. We only ask for the most simplest stuff, and if they were able to give us that, that would be great. Now, I would like to introduce another feature to where you're able to sell your weapons. You know how you can sell your weapons to like the collector and stuff like that? Well, that would be dope. If you can go to invasion modes, you can kind of sell your weapons, or you could buy weapons from the combat store, or just get it from collector or something. Or what about selling items from other characters? So let's say, for example, I put something online to where I want to sell my character's sword. I'm selling it for like 5,000 coins, and you're willing to buy it for 5,000 coins. Now, and I got 5,000 coins, I could buy a new weapon, or we can do what's called a gear trade, where we both can trade gear. That would be mega dope too. Now, I'm pretty sure that would be abused, but it would be nice if you can trade like one piece a month or whatever, or they put some type of limitations on it, or you just can't share rare items at all. Or, you know, it would require you to have certain circumstances to be able to do those type of things. Now, you know, Serena got that demon form, right? What if you are able to transform into a demon, or, you know, just kind of have those demon powers? I think that would be fantastic across the board if we were able to do all of those type of things. I know this video ran just a little bit long, but who cares? Because the ideas is good. We're Mortal Kombat fans. This is the type of content that you want. Somebody that actually cares about the game, somebody that's going to go into it. I'm not here just to hit the little 10-minute mark so I can make money off a 10-minute video. No, create a combat and is my focus, and I'm going to make sure I touch on the majority of the parts here. Now, Fatalities. Being able to choose your own Fatality that can be displayed online would be super dope. Like, for example, I have this funny Fatality that would be amazing online. And the Fatality I came up with is when you want to quit, when you quit the match, your character just runs off the screen. Like, he literally just runs off the screen, and it's like Fatality. And that character just left, just got in the car and left, or just ran off the screen running scared or something. That would be so freaking dope. It's like you ducking the fade. You ran to duck the fade, because now the person is gonna laugh. You gonna laugh, and it's like something awesome. It's like, yo, I would have ran too if I was beating you that bad. You see what I'm saying? So that would be dope. Now, of course, they got the one where you can do the self-delete, where you pull out the item, you pull it to the cranium, and you add 7 pounds of pressure. Of course, they got that one too, which is pretty dope. And they could just come up with all different type of ways where you can just kind of like, remember how Joker took that gasoline and poured it on himself? They should have one like that where you can just kind of engulf yourself. That would be pretty dope too. I'm trying to be careful with my words here because I'm not trying to get blocked by the algorithm, but I do think there's so much that can be done, with Fatalities. Now moving over to brutalities. When it comes to brutalities, it would be mega dope if you can kind of choose your brutality. Now mind you, choosing your brutality will be based off what type of weapon you pick. So if you decide to pick a weapon, then of course when you do an uppercut, the brutality is going to be with that weapon. But if you don't pick a weapon, then you should be able to choose your uppercut brutality. For example, if I had to choose my uppercut brutality, I wouldn't even choose an uppercut. I would choose like a high kick. So imagine you trying to punch me, I duck, and then I high kick your head and it just pops right off your shoulders. That would be super dope. I would rather have a high kick or whatever, you know? So that would be dope. Or you can get an uppercut. You can get like a palm uppercut where you can use the palm of your hand like Cetrion did in MK11 and it'll pop your head off. Or you can do an old school classic a down two uppercut where boom, they head just go flying. That would be mega dope if you're able to choose all the different ways. Like if you use a sword, then you can just kind of duck, take the sword and slam it right up into their head. And that would be dope also, you know? So that's just where I'm at on that. It's just so much, like I said, that can be done with brutalities. Now imagine creating your own brutality. I'll probably touch on that in another video, but for the sake of this video, I'll give you just a little bit. So imagine being able to shoot your powers. Let's say you got water powers like rain, right? And you throw a water ball at him and a water ball hits him. And when it hits him, it kind of explodes his body or something like that. Now, and of course, NRS would be in control of putting restrictions or brutality things. For example, let's say if you purchase a new projectile and when you hit the square button to read more and it be like purchasing this projectile, here are the requirements. If you purchase this projectile, it's going to come with a 6-second startup frame. It's -18 on block. And there are 2 requirements for a brutality that goes with this. You see what I'm saying? So they can kind of predetermine all of that stuff in advance before selling it. Because of course you don't want people making up their own brutality rules because they're going to be as easy as possible to do. So that's just where I'm at with it when it comes to this whole CreateAFighter thing. And I really hope NRS takes the opportunity to hear this video and to be able to include a lot of this stuff, because it would just be so dope across the board for a lot of us to be able to experience these things, you know? So again, I know this video ran long, but who cares? If you watched all the way to the end of this video, you really are a Mortal Kombat fan. Give yourself a pat on the back. Congratulations for sticking in there and enjoying this video with us. I truly appreciate you for tuning in. So, you know, I want to pass this question off to you guys in the comment section below. Would you be open to spending money to buy a crap ton of stuff for your created character if they were to introduce created character, created combatant, CreateAFighter, whatever they want to call it? Would you mind spending money? Because me, I would not mind spending money. This would be the equivalent to GTA selling shark cards. Like, imagine them releasing exclusive bundles, right? Let's say they release an exclusive Mortal Kombat bundle in the combat store where it's like you get 2 brutalities, a new sword, a helmet, some skin colors, and some palettes for your created character. That would be mega dope, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be dope? It will give you the incentive to play Mortal Kombat every day because you never know what's going to be available, what you're going to get. And they could actually bring back something that they did in MK11. In MK11, they had something where Ed Boon would tweet something and say, behind a wall you will find a ball or something like that, you know, and you actually log in, you go to invasions, and you find a treasure chest that you can go to that has some cool stuff for your CreateAFighter that would be in there. So I just think that would be awesome across the board. Now, a lot of you would probably say, well, Wave, what would the person say if we win? What would the announcer say? Well, they can do something, they can be lazy and they can just do player 1 wins or player 2 wins, or they can go you win. They can do that. Or if they really want to get creative, they can create a system that has nicknames in it. For example, they can be like the Dark Knight wins. You see how I did that Batman reference? So they can have predetermined names that you can use for your wins and stuff like that. For example, Wave Rider wins, brutality. That would be mega dope if they do something of that nature. But anyway, that kind of covers everything when it comes to CreateAFighter. If I left anything out, let me know so I can cover it in the next video. I want you guys to know I'm super excited about being back full time on YouTube and bringing you guys the amount of videos that I'm bringing you each and every day. So I want to pass this question off to you guys in the comment section below. As mentioned before, are you willing to spend money on CreateAFighter if they were to introduce it and give you those opportunities? Definitely let me know. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications.
We outside in public, baby, please pull up your friends. If they say it's up, then we ain't even shaking hands. Pull up with a beef and now they wanna change the plans. Reason why they running, cause we shooting at they mans, yeah. Hey, and it's all part of the plan. Why she keep on calling, cause she know I'm high demand. So in love with me, I got her on command. She sucked me inside the coupe, I say, and I'm your biggest fan. Yo, she pull up whenever I land. I made it to the top, so you can see I'm living grand. I'm in Cali with some bitches on the beach, we bring a sand. Keep that 30 on the seat and shoot like Curry with the left hand.